Here we are getting closer and closer to Christmas. So the quicker a card is to make, the better. So check this one out. An interactive card using products from the Wrapped in Plaid suite. Doesn't that look like fun? So to close it, just fold the tree up, and now it's closed. You won't be able to stop opening and closing this one. Hi, I'm Linda Anderson from Linda Lou Creates, and I'm so happy you joined me. Now, let me show you how easy it is to create this fun interactive Christmas card. First up, the supplies you're going to need. I have the card base, which is thick whisper white. It measures 8.5 by 5.5. The score line is here at 4 1/4. I also have an envelope because I like to decorate the inside of my cards, and now I'm starting to get into adding some fun additions to the envelope. So that's why I have an envelope included here as well. I have papers here from the Wrapped in Plaid suite. The papers are actually called Wrapped in Plaid, and they measure 2 inches across, 4 inches down. It's double-sided, the paper, so you can pick whichever ones you want. I'm going with these two designs. One's for the outside, one for the inside. And believe it or not, one of the papers, don't you love this gold stripe that goes through it? I love it. But on the opposite side, one of the papers is covered in these trees that coordinate with the pine tree punch. I think that's just fantastic. So let me go ahead and punch out the tree. It's already here, and all I have to do is line it up as best I can and punch. So there we go. We have our tree edition. Let me also show you another punch that we're going to use. Let me bring the card back in. The opening itself, this slot is made with a classic label punch, and here that is. So you'll need that. I have a couple inks that coordinate with the colors here. Let me tell you about those. I have Shaded Spruce, Cherry Cobbler, and Soft Suede. So let me go open up a couple of these ink pads, because the first thing I want to do, oh, and I haven't shown you the stamp set that I'm using as well. It's called Perfectly Plaid, and it is as a bundle with the pine tree punch. So you can save 10% if you purchase both of these together at the same time. So out of the stamp set then, I pulled out some punches excuse me, no I didn't, I pulled out some stamps. How's that? I'm gonna go ahead on my envelope then and do just a Christmas tree, or an evergreen tree rather. So let me ink up. I'm going to stamp right here on the front. This is the Shaded Spruce. And for the moment, I'm going to close this up. I have a bad habit of dropping things into my open ink pad, so I always like to close them up right away. Now I have the tree. There is also a separate stamp for the trunk. So let me go ahead and get that on there. So there, my envelope is decorated. So I'll set that aside. Let me actually move the envelope off to the side as well. Let's come back to the card base now, the thick whisper white. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my 2 strips, the ones that measure 2 by 2 inches by 4 inches. Now the one that's going to be on the outside, I'm going to recommend that you put a lot of adhesive. Often I will use the liquid glue for this, but I'm going to show you why I want you to do that here in a second. So let me just go ahead and approximately 1/2 inch to maybe 5/8 of an inch over from the left edge is where you're going to want to set your first piece down. So let me go ahead, sand about 5/8 of an inch. And there again, I'll explain to you why I want you to do that. Now for the inside piece, this one doesn't need all the adhesive that I did with the other one. So let me just go ahead and get that. And now on the inside, also approximately 1/2 inch to 5/8 of an inch, just to have it about the same distance over from the left as the one on the front. So let me go ahead and put that one about right here. Having my grid paper here kind of makes it easy for me. All right, so there we go. Let me go ahead and do some stamping then too while I've got it all here. So on the front, I wanted to pull out the red, which is the cherry cobbler, out of the paper. So I'm going to use cherry cobbler ink and my stamp that says Merry Christmas, and put that here on the right hand side. All right, then I'm going to pull out the shaded spruce to do ink, that is, to do the inside sentiment. So let me get that. Get my stamp out over here. And let's see. This one, hoping that your busy year comes together in Christmas cheer. I like that. So let's put it right here. And we still have room to write a little sentiment, sign our name, whatever it is. Okay, let's come back to the front. Now I have my piece of DSP. I'm going to bring in the classic label punch, and I'm going to punch right through the DSP and the cardstock. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. If I have it at about 5/8 of an inch, like I had said, try and set this edge down at 5/8 of an inch. You can pretty much put this all the way in until you can't push this in anymore. Then kind of go up and down until you have the punch centered. Sometimes when I have done this one before, I have to kind of still eyeball it even for how far in I've gone. So I want to try and be in the center of that piece, that 2 by 4 inch piece. So, and of course straight. So there we go. Now, why did I suggest putting adhesive? That way when you punch through this part on either side of where the opening is adhered down. So if you cover that piece with adhesive, you'll be good. Then it won't flap open there. Now, we're done with that punch. Let me bring back in the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree actually fits really good right inside that slit that you created with that classic label punch. So I'm going to get out my liquid glue, and I'm just going to put a nice little straight line of it right down the center of the tree. All right, so here's where I'm going to attach my tree, right dead center here through that opening. Just hold it for a moment so you get it to adhere well. Then whenever you go to open it up, the card that is, I like to just kind of hold mine down for just a moment, because I have to make sure that glue has it very well adhered. So I want to go ahead and open it, holding it down a little bit. If you can't get that, sometimes I will even kind of help by folding up the edges up here a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a fold. I don't score it or anything, just give it a little bit of a fold so that you can open the card. When you want to close it, then just gently fold those back up, making sure all the pieces fit back in, and close it. That helps to hold that closed. That's all there is to this card. The trickiest part is getting this centered, this punch and opening centered. And then making sure, like I said, that you hold that tree down and kind of help by kind of bending up the sides. I use the bone folder just to give me a little bit of something to push up against. So there is our fun Christmas interactive card. This one, quick and easy to make, but I'll tell you what, the recipient sure is going to have fun opening and closing this card. So it'll open, they get their message, and then they can close it back up. To display it. I love it. Well, thanks so much for watching. I did want to let you know that on Saturday I am going to be holding a marathon of card making Facebook Lives. My Facebook my Facebook business page is, you guessed it, Linda Lou Creates. So search for me, find it. Starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, I am going to be doing an hour showing off all the designer series papers that are within the holiday catalog. There's going to be cards, there's going to be some treat holders, some other 3D items. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually having a little bit of a kickoff the night before, so that is Friday. That is the 4th, rather, of October. So that I'm starting at 8 p.m. Again on my Facebook page, Linda Lou Creates. So be sure and join me. I will let you know ahead of time some of the supplies that I will be using to create the project, so that if you wanted to join in and create with me, you certainly can do that. So I really hope that you can join me there as well. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. Visit me on my blog, lindaloucreates.com, for even more projects. And while you're there, why don't you subscribe to my newsletter as well. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope you get a chance to create today.